All right, let's jump right in. Have you ever stopped and wondered how our modern digital world actually works? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain. We're laying out the complete 2025 roadmap for one of the most important jobs in tech today, the cloud architect.
I mean, it's not even an exaggeration anymore. It's just a fact. The show you binge-watched last night on Netflix, that work call you had on Zoom, pretty much every single digital thing you do is powered by the cloud. It is the invisible engine of our lives.
And that's the real question, isn't it? This gigantic, globe-spanning system, it doesn't just, pop into existence. It has to be carefully, meticulously designed and built by someone.
And that brings us to the architects of the cloud. These are the masterminds, the big picture thinkers who drop the blueprints for the systems that run, well, everything.
So, what exactly is a cloud architect? The best way to think about it is they're part strategist, part engineer, and part visionary. They don't just put servers online, they design the entire ecosystem to make sure it's secure, efficient, and can handle massive scale. And their responsibilities are huge. I mean, they're juggling the absolute fundamentals, servers, storage, networking, while also being the expert on security, keeping costs down, and making sure the whole thing is fast and reliable. They are, essentially, the guardians of a company's entire digital presence.
Okay, so after hearing all that, you're probably thinking, why on earth would anyone want that much pressure? Well, the answer is that the rewards are pretty incredible. Let's get into why this is one of the hottest career paths out there.
Let's just get the big one out of the way first. The money is serious. The average salaries are well into six figures, and for top architects, it goes way, way up from there. But honestly, it's about so much more than just the paycheck.
The demand is just off the charts. Look at this. Over 90% of companies are using the cloud. This isn't some niche tech skill anymore. It's a fundamental business need, and every single one of those companies needs architects to lead the way.
And beyond the salary and the demand, this job puts you right at the center of innovation. You get to solve huge, fascinating problems that have a real impact. You're working on the foundations for AI, for big data, for global companies. You're not just keeping the lights on, you're literally building what's next.
Okay, so what if you're thinking, all right, I'm in. How do I actually do this? That's what this whole next section is about. We've broken down the entire journey into a really clear, step-by-step roadmap.
And here it is, the 5 key steps. It's not magic, it's a process. You start with the fundamentals, you specialize, you learn how to think strategically, and then you prove it. So let's break down each one of these. Step 1. You have to build a solid foundation. You can't construct a skyscraper on sand, right? It's the same idea here. You need to know the core IT stuff, like how networking and operating systems work. And you need to understand the basic ideas of the cloud itself, like IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. These are the non-negotiable building blocks. Next up, you've got to specialize. You need to pick a lane and become a true expert in one of the major cloud platforms. AWS is the biggest player with the most services. Azure is a beast in the corporate world, and GCP is a powerhouse for data and AI. You don't need to know all three at first. Pick one that excites you and go deep.
Now this might be the most important step of all. This is where you learn to think like an architect. See, it's not just about knowing how to launch a server anymore. It's about designing systems that can scale automatically for millions of users, that are highly available so they never go down, and that are secure and cost-effective. This strategic mindset is what separates a good engineer from a great architect.
Okay, so to bring those big architectural plans to life, you need the right tools in your belt. Let's run through the essential skills and the actual software you're going to need to master.
I love this slide because it splits it perfectly into the how and the why. You absolutely need the hands-on technical skills, like using Terraform to write your infrastructure as code, or using Kubernetes to manage applications. But you have to use those skills in service of the bigger architectural goals, like planning for disaster recovery or optimizing costs. The tools serve the design, never the other way around.
So here's your shopping list. This is a practical checklist of tools you will see on almost every single job posting. You've got Terraform for automation, Kubernetes and Docker for running your apps. Git is just non-negotiable for code. Jenkins for automating your deployments, and then tools like Prometheus, Grafana, or CloudWatch for monitoring, so you always know what's going on.
So once you have the skills, the tools, and that architectural mindset,
What does your career actually look like? Let's map out the typical journey from your first cloud job all the way up to a senior leadership role.
Your path will probably start with a hands-on role, like a cloud engineer or a DevOps engineer. That's where you build your technical chops. From there, you move into an associate architect role, then a full solutions architect, taking on bigger and bigger designs. And the secret to accelerating this? Learn the business side. Understand why you're building something, not just how. That's how you eventually get to roles like enterprise architect, where you're setting the strategy for a whole company.
And really, this quote just says it all. This isn't just another tech job. You are on the front lines designing and building the digital foundation that our entire future is running on, from healthcare to entertainment to AI.
So the need is massive, the roadmap is clear, and the impact you can have is undeniable. The cloud is here, it's now, and it desperately needs smart architects to shape its future. So the only real question left is, are you ready to build?